Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honors, and praise to Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Rakak Hadash. And I'll give double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, speaking this truth time and time again. And the water, Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai. And shalom. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters, the Akwaf and Ahiam, to help building the body of Dawadah, the house of David, with the water. And shalom, I'm the brother Tahamam, and I want to start off with the scripture. This is a parable by Yahweh by Shai. Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who spoke this to the prophets. This is Luke chapter 8 and 5. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell by the wayside and were trodden down. So this is pretty much, so Yahweh by Shai, Yahweh Shai, spoke to some people, and some people didn't even take it. They would hear it, and like the scripture says, you got to be doers of the word, not hearers only. I have another scripture. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man, behold, his natural face is in a glass. So it's just a mirror. It's going one ear out the other. He's not retaining it. He's just reflecting whatever the person's telling him back to him of what he's saying. He's but not actually gaining the knowledge to understand it, pretty much. For behold, himself and the goers of his way straightforward forget what the matter of man he was. So he never even retained it. It was trodden down. That's another good scripture. This is Psalms chapter 119, verse 118. Thou hast trodden down all that error from my statutes, but for them deceived is falsehood. So they were trodden down. Finish that scripture. Go back to that scripture. They were trodden down, and they didn't keep the statutes, because they never actually retained it. They just deceived it by acting like they did, but they never actually retained it. So let's go back. What the hell? Satan. So I started over Luke verse 8, verse 5. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the fowls devoured it. So Esau, which is the eagle, when he seen that, he immediately just took it all. Like, they immediately just started to just pick them off, because these ones were always these are 2/3. They never actually heard it. They were trodden down. They never retained it, and they were destroyed for being just wicked. This is Luke chapter 6. And some fell upon a rock, and as soon as it was sprung up, it was withered away. And because it lacked moisture, it lacked the spirit. Some fell on, they didn't have the correct foundation. They said you have to build, Yahweh Shai and Mashiach said to Peter, you have to build your foundation on a rock as a wise man, but don't be foolish and build it on sand. And they were build it on sand. They never actually retained it. They didn't have a correct foundation, and when they did, the pride, let me get a scripture for that. They didn't actually know what they wanted. Like, they They hear it, but they didn't have a correct foundation. They didn't know what they were doing. It either for money, they were doing it for things that, like the false prophets. Some just hear the word because they knew what it can do for them. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil. And so when these seeds, these believers, they when they fell on rocks, they weren't on a foundation like what they were actually doing it for. So it was for the money. So some of them, some because they didn't go to the basics, they didn't build an actual foundation. But this is 1 Timothy chapter 6. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after it, they have erred from faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So straight and forward. And some, they didn't actually have the foundation, they didn't understand. So. Damn. Fucking motherfucker. And some fell among, this is a chapter, Luke, back to Luke chapter 8, verse 7. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and up with them and choked them. So these are wicked me people of the world, not understanding what they should be doing, hating, like they see you have the truth and they want it. They said, Yahweh Shai said, Simon, Simon, I don't want to butcher it, but Satan's trying to shift you. Let's just get back to it. But of thorns of the lovers of the world, not understanding. For these thorns were just wicked. They seen it, like our celebrities. They know that they're gonna get destroyed because they have to know the truth. That so they're wicked. They're thorns and thistles. So they tried to take you out of the truth. So you never had that ultimately you never had that foundation if you get taken out. But not supposed to love this world for, let's get that. This is this is in First John what they were told to not do. This is John, the First John chapter 2 verse 3. Love not the world, neither the things of that. That are of the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So, like, they got taken out because of these worldly processes. They were choked, and they cared not for what they were necessarily needed to. They didn't understand that. They didn't understand what they were in for. They didn't actually hear it. So they were taken out. They loved the world too much. Their foundation wasn't solid. I'll break it down when we get back a little bit farther in that chapter. Others fell on good ground, and they sprung up and bare fruit 100-fold. And when he had said these things, he cried, have had an ear to hear, let him hear. So these ones were the ones that actually retained the spirit of Yahweh Shai and Mashiach. and they did what Yahushua told them. They had the, I mean, they got the blood of Yahushua covering them. Listen, they were obedient servant, and obedience is better than sacrifice, and they were doing what they were told. And when they say bear good fruit, this is how to bear fruit. Wisdom crieth without. She uttered her voice in the street. So when you have that wisdom, it's like when people hear wisdom, it cries out. There's nothing stopping it. The truth is the truth, and that's it. She cried in the chief place of concourse. So the ones that retained that, they got it, and they got on the spirit, and they went to the chief place of comfort, the highways and the byways, and the opening of the gate. And in the city she uttered her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? That's a question they ask. So when we got this knowledge and we seen what's happening in this world, and seen that how just complete stupidity and street simplicity, when we have that spirit, that's what we're going to do. We go out and we ask the question. Well, we ask the question Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai wants us to ask to our people. Like, how, and scorn is delight, and the scorn and fools hate knowledge. So that's self-explanatory. And his disciples asked him and saying, what might this parable be? And Yahushua answered, the most brilliant man that ever lived on the planet. And he said, unto you is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Salakia. To be continued.